Hey everyone. Yeah, I just want to, before I start into this whole headline article and trying to counteract the narrative from the establishment media in Canada, which holy fuck do they ever confuse and confound the masses, right? Wow. But before I even start into it, I just got to say, it makes me fucking sick. There are that many people in Canada that are willing to go along to get along just because whether it's their wife, their husband, their son, their daughter, their mother, their father, their aunt, their uncle, their neighbor, their fucking friend, whoever it is that works for the government, that's part of the system that you know damn well in the back of your mind. Even if you search for half of a second, you'll realize, oh yeah, my life, those of us in the private sector, we're constantly fucked with on a continual basis. And it's not just the central planners. They are at the heart, they are the core of the problem. But who puts them front and center? Who goes to them? Who lobbies to them? Yeah, your public sector fucking workers. That's the number one. First of all, if you got someone in your family that works for the government, I want you to know right now, other than a very, very, very rare exception to the rule, they don't give a shit about you. And if you work in the private sector and they work for the government, they want nothing more than to never talk about politics. And you'll find that. Go ahead, try to talk to them about, do you think it's right that you get to live off of the fruits of my labor? Do you think it's right that you have access and are part of a system that has the ability to plunder the masses or even future successive generations willy-nilly anytime they want to keep your position or your employment going, even if it's completely irrelevant in this day and age? Think about the education system. Think about how easy it would be in today. I mean, think of how broke fucking governments are and people and all this shit. Think about if there was proper incentives and genuine economics and philosophical thinking involved, then the education system would have been revamped as soon as the internet age began to come to fruition. Why the fuck do you need to pay thousands and thousands of teachers and have all these, bureaucrats and aspects of those institutions, right? I mean, think about all that's involved in that, when in reality you could have people, some of the best teachers on the planet teaching, put in video form or even in an interactive type setting, right? I mean, we have all this technology nowadays, but you could have one or even 10 teachers teaching, hundreds of thousands, millions, billions of people. Why do we have to keep this infrastructure in place that keeps all these teachers or these government institutions? Think about too with getting your license or registration. Do you need these fucks to be working there? No, you can do all this stuff online, right? The amount of wasteful spending and not even, it's not even that you're freely giving it to them. They're stealing from you and they're continuing to waste the money that they're stealing from you to prop the system, to keep it going when we know. It's like back in the day. It's like when the automotives were first introduced, Henry Ford and the likes, right? And Oldsmobile and Oakley Motors, former Pontiac. But all of the original inventors of the automobile. Could you imagine those who sold horses? Imagine if government back in the day rejected cars, automotives, these new technologies, and all they wanted to do is keep promoting horses and shit along the fucking roads everywhere you go, right? Imagine if you lived in the world today in 2016 where we still had to ride around in horses even though we have all this amazing technology. How fucking stupid would that be? Play that exact same scenario out in every other aspect of your life or every other aspect of the life that surrounds you. Or the society that surrounds you. We're being robbed and plundered to the tune of even the lowly masses. I mean, think of just the devastating aspect of how much the government steals from you, not just economically, but they steal your confidence, your self-esteem, because they have the power to fucking control you and dictate you. And I mean, what that does to the human psyche. But with all that knowledge, why in this modern information age, why we are still, forced to play these foolish games and are forced to pay into these antiquated systems that are so irrelevant. Same with the media. Look in Canada. Was CBC like over $1 billion Look at Canada Post, another billion fucking dollars a year plus. I mean, they're just those two public corporations alone, which we can get, and we CBC News, political propagandists. You're paying to be propagandized. That's what you're doing. You're being forced to pay people to try to tell you how to think, rather than or what to think, rather than how to think, right? Or rather than just telling you the stories. You're being forced to pay for your own propaganda, or with mail delivery and all this stuff, with email and parcels and private businesses. Why you would need a postal service, government bureaucratic postal service with government bureaucratic unions and all that entails? Well, like I said, this is this continuation, and why things are so fucking desperate and so bad today, and why I know without a shadow of a doubt that things are going to have to correct at some stage of the game. This just can't continue on forever indefinitely. Most people have to at least recognize and all this. But the problem is, you got a lot of people that are working, fighting tooth and nail, because it's in their own best interest to not see this system collapse. So it's a constant battle between natural market forces and central planners. Now, central planners, before the information age, before the internet age, could dominate every aspect: social, economic, and even political narratives and propaganda. But they no longer have that power. The information age, the internet age, has allowed the alternative voices, the alternative media, and an alternative narrative and philosophy to be presented and put forth. Now, it's not as widespread and rampant as it should be, but like I say, we're at the beginning stages of this endeavor. It will happen. That I have no doubt. But those who still want to cling desperately and hold on to those failing models, those archaic, dinosaur-like institutions, I want you to know that you are going to be in a very perilous stage and time in your life when we do finally get to the stage where all of that you have fought so hard to keep going, to keep entrenched, to destroy natural incentives and the natural market value and price mechanism, all those things you've done, you're going to be proven to be on the wrong side of history. Why you would want to be there, I don't know. If it's your sociopathic or control freak type tendencies, I don't know. But even those people with control freak or sociopathic tendencies, don't you at least want to be on the right side of things in the long run game? Because, unlike books that can be burned, the internet's not going anywhere. I don't believe so. This kind of information, where you are, what you thought, you'll be able to pull that up many times in the future. And I just can't help but think that you're going to really, really, really have a stain on, your reputation long after you died for no reason. You might have gained some small monetary compensation or benefit from promoting your central planning overlords. But think about what kind of respect, admiration, and acknowledgement people that are the true leaders of liberty, those who are fighting against you, think about how they're going to be promoted after all said and done. Wouldn't you want to be along those lines? I would be. I am. I'm going to be. It's Canadian Libertarian. I love liberty.